Bit by bit, the secret life of this strange animal is becoming known. We can study its anatomy and the behavior of its smaller relatives, the bizarre and wonderful creatures called cephalopods.
If they did live anywhere where a man lived, they would make mincemeat of him in no time.
Fiction has always branded the giant squid a ferocious enemy of man, and some of its close relations can be terrifying indeed. Master of the deep ocean, the sperm whale knows what we cannot. But recently, scientists have found a way to learn its secrets.
Whales were known to feed on squids, so it made sense to me to try to use the sperm whale as our hound dog to lead us to the giant squid. We really don't know very much about what happens to whales once they leave the surface. So we're working with a mystery that is hunting a mystery.
Descend with us now into the dark and mysterious world of the sperm whale and its fearsome quarry, Architeuthis, the giant squid. For most of human history, the ocean has seemed a terrifying place. Superstitious sailors reported many strange sightings at sea. Their stories summoned up a fantastic variety of monsters that threatened them. These ominous creatures were often blamed when disaster struck, as it frequently did. Perhaps the most feared of all was called the Kraken, a many-armed beast of incredible size and strength. But most sea monsters proved to be harmless or non-existent, all but the Kraken, known today as the giant squid. The National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. houses over 100,000 squid specimens, one of the largest collections in the world. In this working laboratory, Smithsonian zoologist Dr. Clyde Roper is engrossed in the study of cephalopods, such as octopuses, cuttlefish, and squid, and he welcomes the notoriety of the giant squid.
People have to have their monsters for some reason, and of course squid make a perfect monster because I really think that, especially for many young people today, that the giant squid has become the new dinosaur.
It's called Architeuthis, Greek for the ruling squid. It is the perfect sea monster in fantasy, and a formidable predator in fact. It dwarfs most other life in the sea. It deploys a writhing mass of suckered arms and tentacles, which ensnare its prey and jam it into a parrot-like beak. It glares upon the world with the largest eyes in the animal kingdom. Clyde Roper has a lifelong passion for the giant squid and is determined to see one alive in its natural habitat. It all began when he was a teenager working as a lobster fisherman in New Hampshire.
It doesn't take very long when you're working on cephalopods, squids especially, to become aware that giant squids actually exist. As an idealistic young fellow, I was pretty incensed that so many mistruths could be told about these magnificent animals. And as I got deeper and deeper into it, I understood why there were so many misunderstandings. And that is because there were so few specimens that had ever been found. No giant squid had ever been seen alive, and until this day has never been seen alive and photographed. So I became interested in trying to learn about these animals just so I could tell the truth about them and try to dispel the myths.
The aura of terrifying mystery is not easily dispelled. A report by a French warship of an encounter with a giant squid fired the imagination of novelist Jules Verne. His classic 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was published in 1870. Verne's fictional squid updated the ship-eating legend of the Kraken. This squid did not hesitate to attack the Nautilus, Captain Nemo's electric submarine.
Giant squid astern, sir.
The terror of the giant squid may be fictional, but its mystery is very real. Once in a while, a giant squid carcass will be washed ashore. Often these are juvenile squid, more bizarre and pathetic than threatening. Only an expert can tell its species, and that it could have grown to many times this size. In modern times, more and more giant squid have been caught by fishermen as they work in deeper water. They are almost always dead, or nearly so, when brought aboard. Rarely does a scientist get to examine a newly caught specimen, and never a live one. Most have turned up in the waters around New Zealand, Norway, and Newfoundland. This one, measuring more than 30 feet, was caught off Tasmania. From such fragmentary evidence, scientists conclude that giant squid live in deep water and that they are predators. They are believed to live only a few years and to grow very rapidly. No one knows how large. The biggest actually measured was almost 60 feet and weighed about a ton. It is the world's largest and most powerful invertebrate, portrayed as a villain in many tales of the sea.
Giant squid have a reputation for being vindictive and vicious and fierce. They have no reason to be vindictive and fierce. They normally don't interact with human beings. In fact, I wish they would act a little more, react with human beings so that we could find them. At any rate, I think the reputation is certainly not deserved at all, because they're so interesting on their own account that we don't need to make things up about them. Squids are really exciting to me because they have wonderful adaptations for their life in the sea. And these include things like photophores, or light organs, where they can flash and glow different colors. They are fast animals. They're powerful. Some of them have suction cups. Some of them have hooks, like cat's claws, to collect their prey. Some of them will have lights that flash on and off. So they really are fascinating animals.
Squid are weird and wonderful. They and their close relatives have been called aliens from inner space. Indeed, they ride the underwater currents with a serenity that seems almost supernatural. Squid are remarkably intelligent, and their primary nerve fibers are the largest in the animal kingdom, 100 times the diameter of humans. Thousands of multicelled organs called chromatophores are scattered across their skin. Each receives signals directly from the brain. This allows cuttlefish and squid to transform their appearance in less than a second.